I try to be as short as possible to give a little bit of time for questions and answers. If you have any questions for either the services that we provide, specifically on ES4 or on the Connectivity Europe Facility Program, please feel free to ask now.
Do you want to talk anything about the connection to the EPREL, or was it that what we have heard?
It's that we have heard.
There was no information how to connect my data to the EPREL database of the European Union.
Exactly. So to connect your data to the European database of EPREL, you will be offered two possibilities. One will be through a web browser. So as a human being, you will be able to upload your data. The other one is through eDelivery. It's more machine to machine, and that's the solution that we just described in this webinar. So in case that you have like a huge number of messages to exchange and to communicate, it's better to do it automatically through a middleware, through a machine, instead of using a user interface. And that's why you would use eDelivery.
Okay.
So I think the
question as well.
Yeah, I think the objective of this webinar is also to help you make that decision between eDelivery or not, and to know the different vendors involved, because I think the colleagues of the EPREL project are connected. So we will be willing and open to have a test environment where you can start connecting to our connectivity environment, and allow you to start experimenting with AS4. I think this is also the idea of the colleagues of the EPREL project, right? Is that we will open our connectivity environment to everyone interested in testing AS4 following this webinar.
I see, Jean, I see here a question from Gianluca Pinelli asking when would this be possible to have this testing environment?
So already what is already available and that you can already start using is what we call the connectivity testing service. So it's a service available on that we provide already, where you can deploy your own access point and connect to our connectivity testing instance. And that will allow you to send your data. Now, this system, this connectivity testing platform, is not yet connected to any testing environment of EPREL. And I let my colleagues from EPREL answer the question when such connectivity testing, not only based on eDelivery, but also on EPREL data, will be available. So maybe Isabel or Oscar, if you would like to answer this question.
So to make it very simple, following the webinar, we will send you the link to the connectivity testing of eDelivery, and that you can use as from now. All the information that you require is online, and there is a very simple set of instructions that you need to follow, and you can start testing as from tomorrow. But now it's up to the colleagues of EPREL to explain if there will be something even more specific to EPREL.
Hello, this is Oscar. Can you hear me?
We can, Oscar, please.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I'm Oscar Miralles again from EPREL project. Yes, the testing that our colleagues are talking about is just about connectivity. If you want to connect your systems and check if they can receive messages, you can do it from now, I guess, I understood. But for EPREL, no, because you need first to create the message that you will send to EPREL with the structure of the data exchange model that we send to you, that we publish in December. Put your data there, your attachments, then this, I guess, it will need to be wrapped in another message that has to be sent to Domibus, or well, to the corner, to the system to be sent to EPREL, but EPREL is not prepared yet. We are working on it, and I guess we will be able to start doing some pilots in July. But maybe it's not possible with all the product groups because the database is not yet prepared. But I will give you more information in the future because we still don't have an exact date for that. Thanks.
So, Oscar, what you're saying is that if people are interested to start experimenting with AS4 and send test data, they can already do it using the connectivity testing environment of the Connecting Room facility, eDelivery. So we will send that information around. And then in the future, there might be an additional set of, let's say, tests also looking at exactly the payload that was submitted, but that for the moment is not yet available. And we will know soon when you will make that possible.
Yes, the idea is that you can now test just connectivity, but you cannot send data to EPREL. That will be in a near future.
There was a question from Peter Benko. Is it possible to download a Docker image to use on our platform? Actually, we have Docker images, but we don't provide official support for them. So we can give you a link where you can download such Docker image, but be aware that in case that you encounter any very problematic issues, we may not be able to solve them in a timely, decent manner.
But we can facilitate the Docker images.
Yeah. Okay. And for different other questions related to more like the payload, I think we can relate to what our colleague Oscar just explained, that this is not yet ready, but will come somewhere in July. No, so from LC, I see the question, will the pilot EPREL be connected to the AS4 access point you're going to use for the testing transmission? No, it's going to be two different services, two different access points.
The access point that will be used for test is really a test access point that is used by all the different projects using eDelivery. So it's not going to be only used by EPREL. It's already being used, by the way. It's already online. You can use it even today. And it's focusing on connectivity. So we will not look at the data. We will just look that we can receive the data, and when it's there, it's over. You will just receive an acknowledgement, but there will be no further steps in the workflow. So there will be no error messages relating to possible errors in the payload. So that you will not see, but you will know that you can use AS4. At least that you will be somehow reassured.
And then one more precision. We provided the link to the page where we describe the connectivity testing service. And at the end of the page, you will find, so you have to scroll down to the end of the page. And on the bottom, you will find what we call the connectivity testing service offering description. So it's a document where we explain all the steps to request the service and all the information you need to provide and to send to our email address of the support of eDelivery to be able to request the service. I see another question. Is there any disadvantage to using AS4.NET access point versus dummy bus? To our knowledge, there is none. We really don't necessarily promote dummy bus more than any other solution. They are all, with their advantages and disadvantages, and it is, I would say, to the users to really select what you think is best for you, so to make your own assessment.
And you have the contacts of the different vendors. They are willing to support you. They have been in contact with several other projects, and we really invite you to look at the one that fits the best your needs. There are different options in terms of support, in terms of training, in terms of hosting. So I think you have a good selection there. And now, I mean, of course, we are the European Commission. We have to keep our neutrality there. As long as you have different options, this is what matters to us.
There was a question regarding from Gianluca Pinelli, will we have to provide ourselves with the digital certificates? So here we also run a service which we call the PKI service, where we can provide digital certificates for free. But it is the responsibility of the business owner, so our colleagues from EPREL, to decide whether this service is going to be used in the EPREL project. So we have such service, but I cannot confirm yet that it's going to be used. It has to be approved first by our colleagues from EPREL.
But for testing, definitely you can use our test certificates.
Exactly. For testing, it's part of the connectivity testing service. You will be able to, and you will be provided with digital certificates for testing. I'm talking here about more like acceptance and production certificates. There is a question from Elsie. I think it's more for our colleagues from EPREL. Will then be an EPREL test environment with proper access point and production one with a different access point? Oscar, maybe you can take this one?
Yes. Well, no, I don't think I can answer this question. It's a bit too technical for me. But I guess there will be one access point for testing and another one for production. That's normal. And I don't know, the one for testing will be used for the pilot.
Okay.
And I see another question here. Is the EPREL specification already in final state? I guess for EPREL specification, you mean the data exchange model, if it's in a final version. We send the first draft, we share it on December. We have been receiving some feedback from the industry, and we have been adding some modifications according to this feedback. So we will send you soon another version that you will be able to review and maybe to use when the pilot is ready.
Okay, maybe one or the last question, if you have any.
There are no more questions. Just to confirm that we will be sharing the slides with everyone. We will also provide information about the connectivity testing. And there you can just look at the workflow. It's pretty, I would say, straightforward. But as I said, we have a help desk. All the services that we have mentioned are for free. And once you somehow have our email address, you can always use it in case you run into problems, in case you have additional questions. We are there to support you.
I see also here a final question. When do product registrations become mandatory? Maybe Oscar can also say a word.
Yes, sorry. When product registrations become mandatory? Well, as per regulation in 1st January 2019, suppliers will be able to start registering products before. I think it was in November. I don't have the planning in front of me. October or November. Yeah, starting registrations 1st November. But it's mandatory from 1st January 2019.
Okay, well, so I believe that this concludes our webinar. We will share the slides with you, and in case that you have any questions, please on eDelivery, please feel free to contact us. So thank you a lot for your participation, and we wish you a good end of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.